Welcome back, horror fans. It is October 31st, and what does that mean, Vince?
The final disc in the Halloween box set. Finally made it to the final disc that we started in 2014.
I seriously didn't think we would ever do this whole disc, all these discs. I thought we would just skip them, but nope. We're here, we're dedicated, and because it's Halloween Day, I mean, what better movie to review than Halloween itself?
And we did this all courtesy and because we love our fans, all because of the fans that we have that requested us finishing this box set.
I just did it to watch Halloween 14 freaking times.
Exactly. 16 discs.
So we have finally reached the last disc, and it's a bonus disc, but the bonus disc actually has the Halloween movie on it.
It is actually the original Halloween theatrical version of the movie, but it's got TV spots that were added to it because when they went to film Halloween 2, they actually filmed some things to put on the network television premiere of Halloween when it first premiered on television.
I've never heard of that story in my life, Vince.
The theatrical version of Halloween, but they went and put in the TV spots that they filmed to make up the time that when they originally aired it on television, they edited it for time. As they were filming Halloween 2, they filmed these scenes to put in to the television network premiere of Halloween.
Because I've seen these scenes edited out, before, because they were on the original, the first disc here. They have them as separate. When you actually watch the film and they're inserted into the movie, it makes a pretty big difference.
It does. That's what I mean. They're really powerful scenes, actually.
I think the absolute best scene is the first one, where Donald Pleasance is telling these people they need to move Michael to another place because it's not secure enough. Out of all the scenes, I think that's probably the best added scene.
The other added scenes are just as strong, but that one's probably the best one.
I think the strangest one is the one where he walks into Michael's room after he escaped the asylum, and they even explain how he escapes the asylum. It's just kind of weird. But then they have the door to his room or the closet or whatever, and he scratched the word sister on it. But then they never explain what that meant throughout the rest of the entire film. So it was kind of a useless scene, but you knew what it was because of the second film. But still, putting that into this movie didn't make much sense.
If you hadn't seen Halloween 2, if you were just watching this for the first time, you would probably assume that it meant Judith Myers, the one he stabbed in the beginning. But because we have seen Halloween 2 and we know what happens afterwards, we know that it means Laurie Strode.
I mean, it was really cool to see this. It was kind of like watching a brand new Halloween. And the added scenes were pretty long sequences, too. They weren't just, a couple seconds here and there. So I thought it was really cool. And it's mostly all the stuff they added is in the beginning of the movie. So probably middle to the end, there's no added anything.
The thing that I found odd is on this disc, instead of making the entire film in HD, they put the TV spots in standard definition.
Maybe the footage was too old and it didn't look good in HD, or who knows.
What would you give this Halloween version, this extended version of Halloween?
So I would give this extended Halloween a 5 out of 5. Thought it was really good, really entertaining, and just really enjoyed it.
And I would give this version of Halloween a golden machete!
Alright, now let's get on to the rest of the extras here, because there's a ton of extras on this disc.
The first thing that we have up is Halloween Unmasked 2000.
What this is an old... I don't know how... I guess they must have made it in the year 2000. Just basically the stuff you've heard over and over and over and over. And there's nothing new here. If you've watched this whole box set, you've seen all these interviews. You've seen everybody talk about the same stuff. And there's absolutely nothing new in this whatsoever.
No, there's nothing new to it. And it's old interviews and it's old footage and everything that you've already seen, especially throughout the, like David said, throughout this set. But what it is an excerpt that was on the collector's edition DVD of Halloween that came out in 2000.
I was pretty bored by this. I didn't think it was very entertaining. I mean, it wasn't terribly done. It's just the same interviews that you've seen a million times.
It doesn't blow me away, but it was all right for what it is. It's just, yeah, you've heard it over and over and over again.
Yeah, so this extra for me would get a 2 out of 5.
And I would give this extra a 3 out of 5.
Up next, we have the making of Halloween 4 Final Cut.
And this, like Halloween Unmasked 2000, is an excerpt from a collector's edition DVD of Halloween 4 that came out around 2000, I believe.
Yeah, and then once again, it's the same old interviews with all the people from Halloween 4. Basically, they were talking to the director at the time they made the movie, and all the actors and actresses and everybody that the whole time they were making the film. You know, these are where the interviews came from.
I lost my train of thought.
The train has left the station.
Oh, what I was going to say is... Shit. Never mind.
Well, one thing about this that really bothered me is the director kept saying, oh, well, we're going back to Halloween 1. You know, we're going to make this movie as good as Halloween 1. And we're not even going to focus on any other ones, like Halloween 2 or 3. We're just going to focus on Halloween 1. And I think we succeeded. I think we have a great film here, and this is a great movie, and I think it's as good as the original Halloween. And he seems like he has such a high regard for himself and this film when the movie wasn't that great.
Yeah, I know. And when we reviewed this, too, I mean, we went through all the plot holes and everything of that movie.
So I would give the Halloween 4 Final Cut a 3 out of 5.
And I would give Halloween 4 the Final Cut a 3 out of 5 as well. So now we come to one of the best parts of this disc, the Scream Factory making of Halloween 4. And it's in 2 parts. And it's 100 times better than Halloween 4 the Final Cut.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is they kind of say the same stuff, but it's so much more interesting, and it's just much more, it's much better done.
They added a little bit more and actually told a little bit more and a little more of the stories that happen on set. And like every Scream Factory making of featurette interviews and things, these are new stuff, and you get to see the people that were in the film, almost everyone that was in the film, and you see what they look like now, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, and they actually had so much stuff go on the set they didn't talk about in the last making of. Donald Pleasance said he was drinking with his girlfriend, and she says, oh, look, hey, you got a fried egg on your side of your face. So halfway through production, they just changed the makeup, so it changes halfway through the movie for no reason.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand either. Is a lot of these things that happened while they were filming it, they were like, "Well, we don't have time to go back and film it, so we'll just leave it in there."
I refuse to believe, Vince, that if they're filming a Halloween movie, they don't know the difference between a Michael Myers mask and a pink-faced, white, blonde-haired mask. How is that even possible?
So I got hired. I asked Don Post Jr., when he redid it for us, to use the Shatner mold and actually use William Shatner because we wanted the actual true face. I didn't get a chance to see those masks until we actually got on set. I opened the box and there were 6 of them, and they were pink with white hair.
I don't get it either. And again, you know, they didn't have time to go back and refilm everything, so they just leave the stuff in there.
There's a scene in the school, you can see directly that it's a pink mask with white hair.
I still believe that the reason that mask in the throwing Loomis through the door in the elementary school is off is because someone ran to the prop truck at 4 in the morning and brought in the wrong mask, and everybody was too overtired to catch it. I really think that was a mistake.
I would have noticed it.
Well, they also didn't notice that Donald Pleasance was wearing his hat through half of the movie either. When the other half of the movie, he didn't have one.
Oh my God.
And yet, this is like the Gone of the Wind of, according to him, of Halloween, you know.
Absolutely entertaining from beginning to end. It was really, really good. And it just kind of shows that people, even in the movie business, have little or no idea what they're doing.
Probably should have gone back and reshot it.
Especially with a franchise like this, to get a pink and blonde mask.
Michael Myers doesn't have blonde hair.
All right, so I give this a 5 out of 5. Really, really good.
And I would also give this extra a 5 out of 5. It was really good. I really was entertained by it.
So up next we have Inside Halloween 5.
And like Halloween the Final Cut, this was also an extra feature on the collector's edition of DVD of Halloween 5. It is as terrible a extra as you can get.
It wasn't just all that good, Vince. It just was bad. Just bad. And it cracks me up again. These actors are talking about, oh, well, we went back to Halloween 1. You know, we are trying to get that feeling of Halloween 1 back in this film. They didn't even get a Halloween feel from any of the movies in this film. I think they missed Halloween completely. And they hired some sort of weird French director who probably never even seen a Halloween film.
Suspense, horror are the 2 ingredients, but basically suspense, very little horror, but extremely violent at times.
And I think a lot of these people who were on this movie had never even seen a Halloween movie, so they didn't even know what they were doing.
To be honest, at that point, I'd never really seen any of the Halloween films.
Well, with that director, though, he kept trying to make this into like a masterpiece of art, and you know, and so he picks all this gothic mansion of a house to be Michael Myers' house, original house. Go back home, Michael. Oh my God.
So I would give this one a 2 out of 5.
And I would also give this one a 2 out of 5. Now we come to the Scream Factory version of Halloween 5, the making of Halloween 5. And it, too, is in 2 parts.
And to tell you the truth, I actually like this one even better than the making of the 4th one.
And I would agree with that. I thought this one was fantastic.
It was really entertaining to hear all the actors like, oh my God, what were we thinking? I mean, it was really, really good.
It's been this many years since they made this movie, and they're actually talking about how the movie sucked.
And the girl, she kept saying, I didn't really understand why I was mute. I don't think anyone understood why I was mute. It didn't really make any sense for me to be mute for the movie.
It sounds like they all have fun making the movie, but at the same time, they're sitting there going, I don't know what Dominique, whatever his name was, the director of Halloween 5, was actually trying to do there. That it's pretty repetitive from each one of the cast members that keep showing.
The one thing I found pretty disturbing, though, out of this, is the fact that all these people who were in this movie, all they did was party. They actually had footage of them, like, partying in the hotel room.
So we got in our partying when we could.
It was a party happening nightly in our room.
They all were drinking, all were drunk, and then had the young girl in there with the Michael Myers mask running around stabbing people in the party.
And there was this little bar, this like big cabinet where they kept all the little liquor bottles. And it had like a latch on it, but it would open just a teeny bit. And I was the only one that had a small enough arm to reach in and grab the bottles for everybody. And we would party in my room. So I was one of the gang. She was like a little buddy. I mean, she was with us all the time.
Like I said, it sounds like they had fun while they were making it, but the movie suffered for it.
It was like our version of like a frat party.
There was a lot of liquor, and we would dance it till the wee hours of the morning, and then get up with like 3 or 4 hours worth of sleep.
Good morning. We're shooting tomorrow. This is the exact last night we're gonna do this, right, Mark?
It just blows my mind that all these professionals who are trying to make a multi-million-dollar movie act like that behind the scenes.
And one of the last things I want to talk about here real quick is they actually had the composer, Alan Holworth, talk about the clown music that he put into the film.
And I took a little past that. I made some goofy kind of cartoon music that went with it.
All clear. Nothing above, nothing below.
Honka honka.
You've got a Halloween scary groove, and all of a sudden this thing that's just like a cartoon cue. So that was an odd piece, and they kept it. So I guess it worked.
Oh my God! My favorite part is when the director tells him to walk like penguins.
Penguins, you get me? He wanted to add a goofiness to these characters, so he thought if we waddled away, it would add that element of clownishness. So oftentimes we were walking away from camera and I would hear, just as we turned, penguins, penguins.
Well, he's French.
One of the best extras on here. So for me, this actually gets a 5 out of 5.
And actually, I would definitely give this extra a 5 out of 5. It's a great Scream Factory extra. So next up we have an interview with Mustafa Akkad, who was the producer of the films, of all the Halloween films.
Yeah, it is really short, but it's not terrible. It's just him talking. I think he's on a talk show or whatever, but at least it's short.
Well, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. It's just him basically reiterating what's been said in all the other extras and all the other commentaries and stuff, and how he came about to actually put up the money to make Halloween.
So I give this a 2 out of 2. 2 out of 5. 2 out of whatever.
It was so short we lost 3. And I also would give this extra a 2 out of 5. Or 2.
So up next we have an interview with makeup effects artist Tom Burman on Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
And I think this is a Scream Factory interview, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it looked like it was a new interview. And he was talking basically about how he, did the effects for Halloween 3. And it was a pretty good little extra. It's not very long, maybe about 5-7 minutes. And, I actually thought it was pretty good.
It seemed like it was one that, like, it had been left off the Halloween 3 disc. Because they had a lot on Halloween 3. A lot of extras on there. And, like, this one didn't make it.
This was a pretty entertaining extra. Wasn't very long, but what they did show I liked, and I will give this a 3 out of 5.
And I will second that. So now we come up to an extra that when you click on it, you actually go to 5 more extras.
Yeah, you do.
These are really good extras because this is part of my favorite part of Scream Factory's disc so far, and that is Horror's Hallowed Grounds with Sean Clark.
And the bad part about this is they used to do this with like every movie they had, and they stopped doing it for a while. So for like the last 3 or 4 big releases from Scream Factory, it hasn't been on there, and I've been really missing it.
But here we get the first one, of course, is all the places from Halloween 4. Sean Clark goes around and visits all the locations of Halloween 4. And it was actually really interesting and really entertaining.
And he actually tells you everything. I mean, he don't leave anything out. It's very, very detailed. He'll like walk into a house and say, okay, this is where the camera was set. It was pointing in this direction, and the other person was standing here, and this wall wasn't here, and, you know, this is where, I mean, it's really, really detailed.
Yeah, he explains everything, and then when he can, he actually has the actors or the people that were around at that time come in.
Okay, asshole. Oh yeah, that'll stop you for sure.
And then put it right in his one.
Ow.
He went from, I think it was Halloween 4, and then he did Halloween 5, and he did Halloween 6, and then there was a bus tour he did, and then he did the original Halloween, which was his demo reel, I guess he sent to Scream Factory.
So all of this on here is just fantastic. And for me, I would give it a gold.
Yep, this is like the best extra on this entire disc, and it's one of the best extras out of the whole box set. So for me, it also gets gold. So, after that, we end up going into TV spots for Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween 2. Then we end up going in the radio spots for Halloween 3 Seasons of the Witch. Then we have Halloween Still Gallery, Halloween 4 Still Gallery, Halloween 5 Still Gallery. Whew.
And it's interesting. It's neat to watch. I mean, they're old stuff, old ads and stuff. It was kind of interesting to listen to and reminisce about it.
So I'm not going to rate any of that because it's always the same stuff. We always get that same stuff. It's nothing new. Every DVD you buy has that kind of stuff on there. So there you go, people. The entire 15-disc box set.
I'm worn out.
Yeah, me too. It was a great journey to go from the first Halloween all the way up to Rob Zombie's Halloween. It was really interesting to see how the film progressed over the years and how weird it got, and then how it just shifted gears and then came back and then shifted gears and then finally shifted gears again, and it was just really interesting.
So if you ever wonder if this is even worth picking up, it is. It is so worth picking up. It is a great set of all this stuff. Everything and anything that you wanted to know about Halloween is right here.
I would say this is second only to the Alien quadrilogy that came out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I want to thank all the fans of ours that requested this and requested us to finish it. I want to thank them. Thank you so much for having us do this and having us complete it and finish the whole thing. I really enjoy that. I'm glad you're watching this and enjoying it.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy Halloween.
That kind of says it all right there.
Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
It's about sex. Sexy. And I was like, okay, I'm walking my dog. You know, he was all like, sexy. We want sexy.